Broadcast live to the nation, Caitlin Clark dropped a two-word bombshell that left every front office executive frantically scrambling. Forget interest or casual inquiries. The absolute top priority for this team is Kelsey Mitchell. This next chapter for Indiana is far more monumental than a simple roster adjustment. We are witnessing the first move of a meticulously engineered powerhouse, built around the most marketable star in history and financed by owners who refuse to wait. Grasp the sheer gravity of that announcement before we look at the details. Clark is never careless with public statements regarding team building. She isn't an athlete who mentions specific names without a clear objective. By publicly crowning Mitchell as the team's primary focus, she was doing much more than simply sharing a private wish list. She was sending a loud, calculated signal to every athlete, agent, and general manager across the professional landscape. Indiana is done with the slow rebuild. They are hunting for a title and they want it starting this very moment. If you have been tracking the subtle hints coming out of Indianapolis and suspected something massive was brewing, smash that like icon because we are revealing the complete blueprint of what this new Fever Super Team looks like. We'll explain how salary rules turn 2025 into a make-or-break season and which acquisitions could ignite a true dynasty. Most media coverage has completely missed this specific story. We have to start with the finances, because the numbers are both the engine of this plan and its biggest threat. Under the current league rules, every franchise is restricted to carrying exactly 2 players on a maximum contract level. Just 2. Yet, Indiana is staring at 3 elite stars who all deserve those top-tier paychecks by 2025. Clark, Boston, and Mitchell. 3 stars, but just 2 legal max slots. On paper, the math fails. Regardless, the front office isn't flinching, and they certainly aren't looking to trade away Boston. There is absolutely no indication that they expect Mitchell to settle for a massive discount to stay. They are going all in, because the massive surge in revenue tells a much different story than the strict salary cap. Clark's arrival completely overhauled the team's economic health, leading to every single home game being a total sellout. They became a national television obsession for the first time, causing ticket sales and broadcast ratings to skyrocket instantly. Corporate sponsorships arrived at a scale the organization never previously attracted. This isn't just guesswork, it's the proven economic power unleashed when the most famous face in the game joins your squad. So, when the owners see 3 stars and 2 slots, they don't see a crisis. They see an opportunity. A calculated tactical gamble. Pay Mitchell and Boston in 2025, chase the gold, and handle the financial fallout when 2026 arrives. The truly massive part of this moment isn't just the strategy itself, but the way Clark took control of it. She didn't let the front office control the flow of information through quiet leaks or dry corporate press statements. She stepped onto national TV and named Mitchell the priority, using her immense leverage to force the team's hand. This move shifts Mitchell's entire market value while proving to every other contender that the Fever are for real. It also proves to every potential recruit that Indiana possesses a superstar who is loud about winning, deeply committed, and perfectly aligned with the front office's vision. When a player like Caitlin Clark mentions your name on a major broadcast, your leverage in negotiations changes forever. Now, combine all of this with the most turbulent and chaotic free agency period in the history of the league. Over 100 athletes hit the open market at once. The scope of that figure is staggering when put into context. Keep in mind, there are only 144 total roster spots across all 12 teams in the league. That means 70% of the league's players are becoming free agents at once, which is absolutely unheard of. This is a total reshuffling of the deck, happening alongside an expansion draft that adds even more complicated layers. Golden State's new team will snatch 1 unprotected athlete from every existing roster. Indiana isn't just hunting for upgrades during this free agency. They are currently shielding their entire lineup from being gutted. Right now, Indiana possesses only 3 players who are truly untouchable. Clark, Boston, and Timpson are currently on rookie contracts with 0 immediate financial pressure. Lexi Hull sits in a precarious spot as a restricted agent. While Indiana can match any external bid, her future remains shrouded in total uncertainty. Any rival can throw a massive offer sheet on the table, forcing the Fever to either cough up the cash or let her walk. And with the expansion draft looming simultaneously, every single unprotected slot on this roster is suddenly in the crosshairs. Indiana isn't just assembling a squad. They're trying to build a fortress while the very ground beneath them is shifting like sand. Each day that ticks by without Kelsey Mitchell's ink on a contract is another chance for a competitor to swoop in with a better deal. And make no mistake, the bidding war for her talents is going to be absolute chaos. Dropping over 18 points per game last season, she remains one of the most explosive and lethal scoring threats in the professional game. She thrives in a high-speed, floor-spacing system that perfectly matches the offensive world built specifically for Caitlin Clark's unique skill set. That backcourt synergy isn't some hopeful theory or a scouting projection. It's already been forged in fire. When Clark goes on national television and explicitly names Mitchell as her top priority, she's sending a loud, clear message to management about what's needed to win. Fortunately, the front office isn't just nodding politely. They are making moves. The real drama bubbling under the surface isn't just about whether Mitchell stays in Indiana. It's about whether this staff can execute a master plan that turns a star trio into a championship-ready 8-player rotation. Because here's the cold, hard reality that Clark herself hinted at when she made that bold statement. She claimed they'd be the favorites if they kept the group together, and that one little word, if, is doing all the heavy lifting. Retaining the core three is simply the starting point for this journey. What the Fever do with the remaining roster spots will decide if 2025 is a title run or a tragic story of what if. Let's break down the actual construction happening behind the headlines, because this is where the casual talk ends and the real strategy begins. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, who is the most vital piece of this puzzle outside of the big 3 stars? We're about to go through every single realistic free agent target on their radar. And I promise, some of these names will completely change how you view this team's future. Grinders making $60,000 to $150,000 are where championship dreams are realized. Stars get you noticed, role players get you rings. Depth determines the winner. And Indiana's front office knows exactly which personalities will thrive or crumble alongside a star like Clark, Mitchell, and Boston, because Clark's high-octane style makes any incompatible player a total liability almost instantly. The very first name you need to keep on your radar is Alana Smith, who just wrapped a season with the Minnesota Lynx on a contract worth roughly $150,000. After her incredible postseason run, her value is skyrocketing for good reason. Standing 6'4", she moves with the grace of a perimeter player. She runs the floor, knocks down three-pointers with effortless range, and provides elite-level defense against the league's best wings. For a backcourt of Clark and Mitchell, a versatile forward who can shoot and sprint is a nightmare. But there's a massive obstacle in the way of this deal. Half the league will be chasing Smith during this free agency. If Indiana locks up max money for Mitchell and Boston, the math required to secure a player whose market value is peaking becomes incredibly difficult to balance. She is the highest ceiling target on the list, yet she might be the one most likely to be priced out of reach. A name that makes much more tactical and financial sense for the Fever is Monique Billings. She earned just over $100,000 last year, and her connection with Clark is deeper than most fans realize. Insiders watching the Paris Olympics prep saw Billings and Clark running pick and rolls with a precision that outclassed almost anyone on the regular season roster. That kind of instant rapport is a game changer. It's a functional scoring partnership that's already built. At 6'4", she attacks the glass with a ferocity few can match, providing the physical presence inside that prevents teams from purely selling out to stop the Fever's shooters. Her salary remains affordable even if the team commits to 2 massive max contracts. And that battle-tested chemistry with Clark isn't something you can just find on a stat sheet or scout in a gym. Quickly, if this kind of deep dive analysis is why you're a fan, consider hitting that join button and becoming a member. Your support allows us to keep chasing the stories that the mainstream media usually just ignores or skips over. Now, let's turn our attention to Kennedy Burke, because while her name doesn't spark the same hype as Smith or Billings, that's exactly why savvy front offices are circling her. Burke earned under $80,000 with the champion Liberty, proving she can contribute 20 minutes a night in the most intense playoff pressure. Standing 6'1", she anchors the floor by shutting down every role possible. She excels without possession, making high-impact plays while others dominate the leather. Having conquered postseason fire on grand platforms, her brilliance isn't about being the main attraction. Her mission involves protecting advantages while the icons catch breath, the secret ingredient for every trophy-winning squad. Moreover, her salary demands align perfectly with Indiana's current financial blueprint. Ignoring the reserve floor general slot is risky, yet Van Loo offers an incredibly logical fix. Earning $66,000 recently, she has navigated through various team lineups. Even with brief appearances, she pilots the strategy flawlessly without committing any massive blunders. While Clark logs 35 minutes daily, this secondary role demands steady hands over flashy invention. She embodies that archetype, economical and reliable, refusing to squander a 12-point cushion when the superstar sits. Should you explain this breakdown to a fellow supporter seeking the complete narrative? Broadcast this footage immediately, as the winter transitions outrun what the media typically captures. Upcoming squad selections over the next few weeks will script this team's destiny for a decade. The ultimate enigma for Indiana this winter remains Tammy Fogg Bentley, whose saga feels truly cinematic. Indiana surrendered Benla during that expansion selection once Golden State plucked her from the available talent pool. Subsequently, she delivered what many consider her most dominant professional stretch while wearing the Valkyrie colors. Holding down a starting spot, she thrived on tailored schemes, grabbing 8 boards nightly and hitting 33% from deep. To understand, her 6'4" physical presence, coupled with supreme glass cleaning and long-range shooting, creates a rare hybrid. She sprints effortlessly, displays infinite energy, and meshes with side's fast break style. Currently, she navigates the market as an unattached professional once more. Her impact on Indiana's success isn't debatable. She would instantly transform the stats and defensive pressure in unison. The true mystery is her willingness to move from being a Californian focal point to a 4th or 5th cog. Representatives are weighing that precise dilemma right this very second. Nevertheless, one crucial argument outweighs everything else. Victory alters the entire equation. Chasing rings beside icons like Clark and Mitchell offers something entirely unique. Playing with Aaliyah Boston provides a prestige that outshines being the star of a developing, unproven roster. If a title is the goal, Indiana is the destination. Observe how this perfect opening lineup finally crystallizes. Pairing Clark and Mitchell up front while sliding Boston into the 4 spot, plus Hull anchoring the perimeter should she return under her restricted status. Crushing 39% of her triples recently, her innate bond with Clark creates an advantage no ordinary marksman could replicate. This leaves a solitary frontcourt opening for a veteran signing, supported by a reserve unit featuring Timpson's entry-level contract. Assuming Bentley stages her homecoming, with Billings or Burke supporting and Van Loo handling relief duties, that totals 8 or 9 elite-level athletes. Such roster thickness ensures the performance never dips during those critical substitution windows. Listen closely to this detail regarding 2026. The monetary deadline is ticking loudly. Once Clark qualifies for that massive contract extension next year, the current team framework must evolve. Salary rules prevent 3 athletes from holding top-tier deals. Sacrifices, pay cuts, or departures are inevitable. Yet, the organization gambles on one simple truth: a single trophy solves every budgetary headache. Securing the crown justifies every daring fiscal leap taken during this high-stakes pursuit. Success fosters an environment where stars might sacrifice income because the other option, abandoning a powerhouse centered on the world's finest athlete, carries a heavier price. This might even rewrite future payroll negotiations. Avoiding this specific gamble proves much riskier. Hesitation ensures Mitchell departs for a franchise that values her fully, wasting Clark's peak seasons on a dysfunctional lineup. Speculating on what if is pointless. Clark is already reaching her absolute ceiling today. Logging 19 points and 8 helpers initially, she paced the competition in playmaking and distance shooting at once. This isn't some developmental project. Forget waiting for potential to meet reality. Her era of dominance has already begun. She's lethal today, and the clock is ticking for management to build a legendary squad while this title window stays wide. Every executive move over these next few weeks dictates the legacy that the Indiana Fever will ultimately leave behind. Will they forge a lasting empire, or become a tragic warning about squandering greatness when the stars finally align? If you haven't joined us, tap that subscribe button and trigger the bell, because the incoming roster storm in Indy is approaching rapidly, and we are prepared to dissect every monumental transaction the very instant they are officially announced. Coming up, we're spotlighting which specific rivals should be fearing the beast Indiana is currently building, and whether any opponent possesses a legitimate strategy to neutralize a fully loaded and dangerous Fever squad. You can't miss this. Caitlin Clark's live television remarks weren't just some casual reply regarding the league's current free agency landscape. That was a bold manifesto from the game's premier icon. This Indiana squad has officially moved past their rebuilding era. They're the ones everyone is hunting now. Every rival front office is haunted by the exact same riddle her words created. The mystery she already settled by claiming the top spot. Is there anyone alive capable of shutting them down?